Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Guys, how you going? There's 3 people here. Hey, Menacing Muskrat, how you going? Hey, Sherry, how you going? Okay, we're going to get into this today. I'm just going to move things around here. Oops. We're going to get into the Twitter files today. I had a really, really good thumbnail to upload on this, but I can't find it. I don't know why. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to share audio, even though I don't think we're going to need it. Today I'm just going to do the Twitter files part 4 and 5. Got it. Okay. So Michael Schellenberger did part 4. I'll find part 5 in a minute. The Twitter files part 4, the removal of Donald Trump, January 7th. As the pressure builds, Twitter executives build the case for a permanent ban. On January 7th, senior Twitter execs created justifications to ban Trump, seek a change of policy for Trump alone, distinct from other political leaders, express no concern for the free speech or democracy implications of a ban. This Twitter files is reported with Elwood House. For those catching up, please see part 1, where Matt Taibbi documents how senior Twitter executives violated their own policies to prevent the spread of accurate information about Hunter Biden's laptop. So that's the first one, which we've read. Part 2, where Barry Weiss shows how senior Twitter executives created secret blacklists to de-amplify disfavored Twitter users, not just specific tweets. So we've read that. And part 3, where Matt Taibbi documents how senior Twitter execs censor tweets by Trump in the run-up to the November 2020 election, while regularly engaging with representatives of the US government, law enforcement agencies, which was 3. For years, Twitter had resisted calls to ban Trump. Blocking a world leader from Twitter, it wrote in 2018, would hide important info and hamper necessary discussion around their words and actions. And Twitter public policy was exactly that. That people should be able to see and debate this information. It would also not silence that leader, but it would certainly hamper necessary discussion around their words and actions. So they didn't want to at the first. But after the events of January 6th, the internal external pressure on Twitter CEO Jack grows. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, tech journalist Kara Swisher at ADL, high-tech VC Chris Sacca, and many others publicly call on Twitter to permanently ban Trump. Chris Sacca said, "You got blood on your hands, Jack and Zuck. For 4 years, you've rationalised this terror, inciting violent treason is not free speech exercise. That's not what Trump did. If you work at those companies, it's on you too. Shut it down. And it says, now is the time for Silicon Valley companies to stop enabling this monstrous behaviour and go even further than they have already by permanently banning this man from their platforms and putting in place policies to prevent their technology from being used by the nation's leaders to fuel insurrection. For goodness sake. Peaceful BLM protests this past summer, seriously? Is that what we call arson, looting and mayhem? Don't recall any police shoot, let alone kill any protester not defending yesterday, but please don't underestimate the intelligence of Americans. It's time for this is the Intelligencer, it's time for social media platforms to permanently ban Trump, they reckon. Jonathan Greenblatt said 2 bare minimum tweets after the Capitol has been stormed by extremists is too little too late. No, he did it. He said peacefully. At Jack, it's overdue to suspend real Donald Trump until his account stops promoting disinformation and inciting violence. He didn't. This is what he said. Donald J. Trump, I'm asking for everyone at the US Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. Donald Trump said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of the country. Stay peaceful. Donald Trump also said Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a correct set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked to previously certify. US demands truth. So exactly where was the inciting violence? Dorsey was on vacation in French Polynesia the week of January 4th to the 8th, 2021. He phoned into meetings but also delegated much of the handling of the situation to senior execs. Yo Yol, Twitter's global head of trust and safety. That's the ones that got deleted. And Vijaya, head of legal, policy and trust. As context, it's important to understand that Twitter staff and senior execs were overwhelmingly progressive. In 2018, 2020 and 2022, 96%, 98% and 99% of Twitter staff political donations went to Democrats. It says this, Matt Taibbi says this system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation. There were more channels, more ways to complain, open to the left, well, Democrats, than the right. And it's opensecrets.org. In 2017, Roth tweeted that there were actual Nazis in the White House. In April 2022, Roth told a colleague that his goal is to drive change in the world, which is why he decided not to become an academic. Yoel Roth said, yes, that person in the pink hat is clearly a bigger threat to your brand of feminism than actual Nazis in the White House. And he said, yeah, academia is by far the most abusive working environment I've ever been in. The entire system is exploitive in a ton of ways and also not necessarily productive if your goal is to drive change in the world, which is the main reason I left. So he's like one of Klaus Schwab's minions or something, is he? On January 7th, Jack emails employees saying Twitter needs to remain consistent in its policies, including the right of users to return to Twitter after a temporary suspension. After Roth reassures an employee that people who care about this aren't happy with where we are. Yoel Roth said Jack's emails have been fine, but ultimately I think people want to hear from Vijaya or Dell, someone closer to the specifics of this, who can reassure them that people who care about this are thinking deeply about these problems and aren't happy with where we are. A few engineers have reached out to me directly about it, and I'm chatting with them. But it's so clear they just want to know that someone is doing something about this, and it's not that we're ignoring the issues here. I think there's also an opportunity to help people understand that while it seems obvious and simple that we should permaban his personal account, we can't afford to take that immediate action without first playing the movie out and anticipating all the other things that can happen, and then figure out the plans for those possible scenarios. Example, if we suspend the personal accounts and he posts the same thing on the official government account, do we suspend that too? People can be forgiven for not thinking beyond the thing that's immediately in front of them. But Jack, Vijay, Adele, you don't have the luxury of just pulling the trigger without thinking things through. We tell them repeatedly that people are on it. People are working on it, and they're scratching their heads wondering how hard can it be to decide if this single account is in violation. Around 11:30 a.m. PT, Roth DMs his colleagues with news that he is excited to share. Guess what he writes? Jack just approved repeat offender for civic integrity. The new approach would create a system where 5 violation strikes would result in permanent suspension. Progress, exclaims a member of Roth's trust and safety team. The exchange between Roth and his colleagues makes clear that they had been pushing Jack for greater restrictions on the speech Twitter allows around elections. The colleague wants to know if the decision means Trump can finally be banned. The person asks, does the incitement to violence aspect change that calculus? Roth says it doesn't. Trump continues to have his 1 strike remaining. I don't know who this Yoel Roth. Oh, mate. Roth's colleague query about incitement to violence heavily foreshadows what will happen the following day. On January 8th, Twitter announces a permanent ban on Trump due to the risk of further incitement of violence. On January 8th, Twitter says its ban is based on specifically how Trump's tweets are being received and interpreted. Oh, dear God. But in 2019, Twitter said it did not attempt to determine all potential interpretations of the content or its intent. After close review of recent tweets from the real Donald Trump and the context around them, specifically how they're being received and interpreted. Everyone's going to receive and interpret all different ways. Do not attempt to determine all potential interpretations. Focus on the language of reported tweets and do not. It doesn't even make any sense to me, sorry. The only serious concern we found expressed within Twitter over the implications for free speech and democracy of banning Trump came from a junior person in the organisation. It was tucked away in a lower-level Slack channel known as Site Integrity Auto. This might be unpopular opinion, but one-off ad hoc decisions like this that don't appear rooted in policy are, in my honest opinion, a slippery slope and reflect an alternatively equal dictatorial problem. This now appears to be a fiat by online platform CEO with a global presence that can gatekeep speech for the entire world, which seems unsustainable. And that's what he said there. Again, same thing. Twitter employees use term one-off frequently in their Slack discussions. Its frequent use reveals significant employee discretion over when and whether to apply warning labels on tweets and strikes on users. Here are typical examples. I could have bounced with a strike. I don't see any scenario where we would decide not to bounce here. Just wanted to check if there are any concerns. Otherwise, I can bounce under RTP and close this one before I go. FYIs, account for review. USA secession. We're trying to understand a one-off decision here. By blank, there's always abuse one-off. Another by blank, bounce one-off is the option. Recall from Twitter Files 2 by Barry Weiss that according to Twitter staff, we control visibility quite a bit, and we control the amplification of your content quite a bit, and normal people do not know how much we do. And believe me, whatever Twitter's doing, YouTube and Google and all that are doing worse. They control visibility quite a bit, and we control the amplification of your content quite a bit, and normal people do not know how much we do. One Twitter engineer told us, 2 additional Twitter employees confirmed. Twitter employees recognise the difference between their own politics and Twitter's terms of service, TOS, but they also engage in complex interpretations of context in order to stamp out prohibited tweets as a series of exchanges over the Stop the Steal hashtag reveal. Yeah, Roth. Oh. And someone blank, hey, hope you're doing okay. We were able to get some sleep. Can we or have we already discussed blocking the Stop the Steal hashtag? It's furthering fake news in a dangerous way from what I can tell. Joel Roth said, hey there, We're proactively surfacing that content for review under civic integrity, and it should be blocked from type ahead and trends. If you're seeing it in either of the latter two, let me know ASAP and PT can fix it. I just saw the hashtag and then did a search on it and all the content was appalling. So I don't think it's showing up elsewhere. Thank you for all you're doing. And Yoel Roth went, I'll flag to the election squad. Remember that what I find appalling and what is a TOS, VIO, are not an exact overlap. Yeah, what you find appalling, you find appalling. It's as simple as that. Dear me, some people, they really need to be protected from every little bad word, you know? Roth immediately DMs a colleague to ask that they stop the steal and QAnon conspiracy term Kraken to a blacklist of terms to be de-amplified. Roth's colleague objects that blacklisting Stop the Steal risks de-amplifying counter speech that validates the election. Yoel Roth said to whoever, no, there's a lot going on. Any objections to adding Stop the Steal and Kraken to the CHAQ term list if they aren't already there? The daylight separating Q and the Stop the Steal stuff is now effectively zero. Kraken for sure if it's not already there. I'm too worried about the risk of de-amplifying counter speech with Stop the Steal. And he said ACK. No idea. Indeed, notes Ross' colleague, a quick search of top Stop the Steal tweets and their counter speech. But they quickly come up with a solution. De-amplify accounts with Stop the Steal in the name profile, since those are not affiliated with counter speech. It's also super common on profiles. Actually, we can de-amplify accounts with that in the profile. But it turns out that even blacklisting Kraken is less straightforward than they thought. That's because Kraken, in addition to being QAnon conspiracy theory, based on the mythical Norwegian sea monster, is also the name of a cryptocurrency exchange and was thus allow listed. Also, I think adding Kraken to the various bots may have broken something. Know your 000 for when you're back. Okay, guys, I removed Kraken the other day, FYI. I did break something. There's an app called Kraken app or something. If we allow list that, no concerns about putting it back, but would want to see if there are other FPs. The brand Kraken account is allowed list FWIW. Employees struggle with whether to punish users who share screenshots of Trump's deleted J6 tweets. We should bounce these tweets with a strike given the screenshot violates the policy. They are criticising Trump, so I'm a bit hesitant with applying a strike to this user. Oh, so they choose. If it's against him, they're fine to let it go. But if it supports him, no. Thursday, we should bounce these tweets with a strike given the screenshot violates policy. They are commenting criticising Trump, so I'm a bit hesitant with applying a strike to this user. So they are picking and choosing. What if a user dislikes Trump and objects to Twitter censorship? The tweet still gets deleted. But since the intention is not to deny the election result, no punishing strike is applied. If there are instances where the intent is unclear, please feel free to raise. Jeez. They said, I'm in agreement. One off works for commentary. Strike if a tweet is agreeing with tweet's view. What if it's neutral, sharing opinion like told you it violates Twitter policy? Tweet delete only? I would agree with the tweet delete only on agreeing with the policy. Blank, can I get your opinion here? Blank would have to agree on delete only in instances where the content is not shared with abusive intent. Blank says, thanks everyone. And again, says there are instances where the intent is unclear. Please feel free to raise. Around noon, a confused senior executive in advertising sales sends a DM to Roth. Sales exec Jack says we'll permanently suspend Trump if our policies are violated after a 12-hour account lock. What policies is Jack talking about? Roth, any policy violation. Hi, y'all. I have a question, RE Twitter safety thread, RE POTUS and Jack's email. Jack says we'll permanently suspend if our policies are violated after a 12-hour account lock. What policies is Jack talking about? Is spreading misinfo a violation like his past tweets about election, or is it more about a tweet inciting violence? I'm asking because we're getting tons of calls from clients following Facebook and Instagram decision, so some clarity would be great, thanks. Says, hey JP, for internal awareness, this would be any policy violation, not just limited to elections, but before sharing anything, please coordinate with Blank on the comms side. Obviously a ton of interest in our position on this. Want to ensure we stay aligned. What happens next is essential to understanding how Twitter justified banning Trump. Sales exec, are we dropping the public interest policy now? Roth, 6 hours later, in this specific case, we're changing our public interest approach for his account. Thanks, Joel. We'll connect with comms team for sure. One last question. In the past, we exempted policy violation from a world leader due to the public interest value. Are we dropping the public interest now, and any new violation could be a trigger for me to understand? Again, we'll check with comms. RE, what we cannot share publicly. Yoel Roth says, apologies for the slow reply. I've been back-to-back all day today. In this specific case, we're changing our public interest approach for his account to say any violation would result in suspension. We aren't completing getting rid of the public interest approach, although we do have work planned on revisions in H1 2021. The ad exec is referring to Twitter's policy of public interest exceptions, which allows the content of elected officials, even if it violates Twitter rules, if it directly contributes to understanding or discussion of a matter of public concern. At present, we limit exceptions to the one critical type of public interest content, tweets from elected and government officials, given the significant public interest in knowing and being able to discuss their actions and statements. Roth pushes for a permanent suspension of Rep. Matt Gaetz, even though it doesn't quite fit anywhere. Duh. It's a kind of test case for the rationale of banning Trump. I'm trying to talk Twitter's safety team into removal as conspiracy that incites violence. What's the latest on Antifa claims? Anything brewing policy-wise? C is yelling from the other room that we should just ban Gaetz. Yeah, SP and SI are working on that. It doesn't quite fit anywhere. Duh. But I'm trying to talk to safety into treating it as incitement. I think we'll get over the line for removal as a conspiracy that incites violence. Vijaya was directionally okay with it. Of course she was. Around 2:30, comms execs DM Roth to say they don't want to make a big deal of the QAnon ban to the media because they fear if we push this, looks like we're trying to offer up something in place of the thing everyone wants, meaning a Trump ban. Is there more? That evening, a Twitter engineer DMs Roth to say, I feel a lot of debates around exceptions stem from the fact that Trump's account is not technically different from anybody else's, and yet treated differently due to his personal status without corresponding Twitter rules. And it says whoever's blank now. Hi, Yoel. I'm sure you're very busy right now. My apologies if this is a distraction to your work. I wonder if there's been discussion about reshaping the rules around official accounts, example, Donald Trump on Twitter, and other accounts, real Donald Trump or an unverified account. I feel a lot of debates around exceptions stem from the fact that Trump's account is not technically different from anyone else's and yet treated differently due to his personal status without corresponding Twitter rules to clarify the responsibilities that should come with that status. Roth's response hints at how Twitter would justify deviating from its long-standing policy. To put a different spin on it, policy is one part of the system of how Twitter works. We ran into the world changing faster than we were able to either adapt the product or the policy. Let's read it. I think you're spot on. To put a different spin on it, policy is one part of the system of how Twitter works. There are different things you can change when you want to affect different behaviours. Policy and enforcement are one. The product is another. Partnerships and outreach are another, etc. And all of that is situated in a bigger system, i.e. the world, which influences how everything else operates in practice. When you change one part of the system, you necessarily have to adapt the rest. And I think we ran into the world changing faster than we were able to either adapt the product or the policy, but we can and should do both, not directly. The evening of January 7th, the same junior employee who expressed an unpopular opinion about ad hoc decisions that don't appear rooted in policy speaks up one last time before the end of the day. And he said this might be an unpopular opinion, but one-off ad hoc decisions like this don't appear rooted in policy, are, in my opinion, a slippery slope. Again, the same thing. Earlier that day, the employee wrote, "My concern is specifically surrounding the unarticulated logic of decision by Facebook. That space fills with the idea, conspiracy theory, that all internet moguls sit around like kings casually deciding on what people can and cannot see." Yeah, exactly. And it's unhelpful to the internet ecosystem as a whole. Again, this is in my honest opinion only. The employee notes later in the day, and Will Oramus noticed the inconsistency too, linking to an article for 1.0 at Medium called "Facebook Chucked Its Own Rule Book to Ban Trump." The underlying problem, writes Will Oramus, is that the dominant platforms have always been loath to own up to their subjectivity because it highlights the extraordinary unfettered power they wield over the global public square and places the responsibility for that power on their own shoulders. So they hide behind an ever-changing rule book, alternately pointing to it when it's convenient and shoving it under the nearest rug when it's not. Facebook's suspension of Trump now puts Twitter in an awkward position. If Trump does indeed return to Twitter, the pressure on Twitter will ramp up to find a pretext on which to ban him as well. Indeed, as Barry Weiss will show tomorrow, that's exactly what happened. And that was the end of part 4, and here is part 5. The removal of Trump from Twitter. On the morning of January 8th, President Donald Trump, with one remaining strike before being at risk of permanent suspension from Twitter, tweets twice. At 6:46 a.m., the 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, America First, and Make America Great Again will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. 7:44 a.m. To all those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. For years, Twitter had resisted calls, both internal and external, to ban Trump on the grounds that blocking a world leader from the platform or removing the controversial tweets would hide important information that people should be able to see and debate. Our mission is to provide a forum that enables people to be informed and to engage their leaders directly. The company wrote in 2019, Twitter's aim was to protect the public's right to hear from their leaders and to hold them to account. But after January 6, as Matt Taibbi and Schellenberger have documented, pressure grew both inside and outside of Twitter to ban Trump. There were dissenters inside Twitter. Maybe because I'm from China, said one employee on January 7th, I deeply understand how censorship can destroy the public conversation. I understand this fear, but I also think it's important to understand that censorship by a government is very different than censorship of the government. The First Amendment in the US and similar legislation in other countries with similar concepts exists specifically to prevent the government from silencing the people. And whoever's blank says, I respect that, but realistically we impose far stricter rules on effectively everyone else on the platform. And blank again said, we started labelling, restricting his tweets when they became a threat to democracy and seemed like that was our red line. Yesterday, he clearly attempted to overthrow our democratic system of government and showed no signs of remorse. If this is not a clear reason to suspend him again as an unhinged ruler attempting to subvert the most powerful democracy in the world, I'm not sure what would be. Shrug. Oh, no, but they let like the Ayatollah of Iran on here, threatening people. Look, this is ridiculous. But voices like that one appear to have been a distinct minority within the company. Across Slack channels, many Twitter employees were upset that Trump hadn't been banned earlier. After January 6, Twitter employees organised to demand their employer ban Trump. There's a lot of employee advocacy happening, said one Twitter employee. I'm still struggling to understand the decision not to ban Trump altogether, given he's inciting people to violence and that has led to people being killed. And I think we owe people an explanation externally. Wednesday, Blank said this is the elephant in the room. Blank said it feels like Twitter policy has engaged with someone acting in bad faith and we won't acknowledge it. Do we have any belief that Trump will stop tweeting incitements to violence? Blank said if Alex Jones was shut down for Get Your Battle Rifles, he's far exceeded that standard. Blank said, I think a lot of employees must share these concerns. Is there any sort of channel or group where we can organise more action? Blank said there's a lot of employee advocacy happening both here and in I'm a Jack AMA. I understand he was our president and he may have been the reason why we were hesitant to do it, but I think that come January 20th, there's absolutely no excuse why his account shouldn't be suspended for good. I have friends with an IT, 1K followers, that, and then it cuts off. We have to do the right thing and ban this account, said one staffer. So, in other words, all the staff on Twitter were just like, what are they called? Advocacy groups for Democrats. It's pretty obvious he's going to try and thread the needle of an incitement without violating the rules, said another. But last sentence, we have to do the right thing here and ban this account. It keeps going 3 times. We don't have a good track record of acting on his account except in the clearest and most explicit of cases, and even then, in my opinion, extraordinary circumstances demand extraordinary leadership. Blank said it took 3 years, but I've lost faith. Actual votes, Donald Trump Republican Party, 232, 46.9%. Something second, this is pretty obvious he's going to try and thread the needle of incitement while not violating the rules. How do you do that? In the early afternoon of January 8th, the Washington Post published an open letter signed by over 300 Twitter employees to CEO Jack Dorsey demanding Trump's ban. We must examine Twitter's complicity in what President-elect Biden has rightly termed insurrection. Oh, this is mind-numbing, seriously. But the Twitter staff assigned to evaluate tweets quickly concluded Trump had not violated Twitter's policies. I think we'd have a hard time saying this is incitement, wrote one staffer. It's pretty clear what he's saying. The American patriots are the ones who voted for him and not the terrorists. We can call them that, right? From Wednesday? Another staffer agreed, don't see the incitement angle here. Anika said, I see Blank has pinged us to ask about incitement for the DJT tweet and want to see if we can align. I don't see the incitement of fear. What PC could... What on earth was that? What PC could it be trying to incite fear about? I don't see the incitement of fear. Again, it's 3 times. I don't know why they're doing that. I think we'd have a hard time saying this is incitement. It's pretty clear he's saying the American patriots are the ones who voted for him and not the terrorists. We can call them that, right, from Wednesday? Don't see the incitement angle here. Also, I'm not seeing clear or coded incitement in the DJT tweet, wrote Anika Navaroli, a Twitter policy official. I'll respond in the elections channel and say that our team has assessed and found no vios or violations for the DJT one. She does just that. As an FYI, Safety has assessed the DJT tweet above and determined that there is no violation of our policies at this time. Later, Navarro would testify to the House January 6th committee. For months I'd been begging and anticipating and attempting to raise the reality that if we made no intervention into what I saw occurring, people were going to die. Next, Twitter's safety team decides Trump's 7:44 a.m. Eastern Time tweet is also not in violation. They are unequivocal. It's clear, no vio. It's just to say he's not attending the inauguration. To understand Twitter's decision to ban Trump, we must consider how Twitter deals with other heads of state and political leaders, including in Iran, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. In June 2018, Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei tweeted, Israel is I'm not saying this, he tweeted this, is a malignant cancerous tumor in the West Asian region that has to be removed and eradicated. It is possible and it will happen. Twitter neither deleted the tweet nor banned the Ayatollah. So there you go. That is exactly his. And they're trying to tell us Trump did? Yeah, right. In October 2020, the former Malaysian Prime Minister said it was right for Muslims to kill millions of French people. What? Twitter deleted his tweet for glorifying violence, but he remains on the platform. The tweet below was taken from the Wayback Machine. Muhammad Buhari, the president of Nigeria, incited violence against pro-Biafra groups. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war, he wrote, will treat them in the language they understand. Twitter deleted the tweet but didn't ban Buhari. In October 2021, Twitter allowed Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to call on citizens to take up arms against the Tigray region. Twitter allowed the tweet to remain up and did not ban the Prime Minister. In early February 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government threatened to arrest Twitter employees in India and to incarcerate them for up to 7 years after they restored hundreds of accounts that have been critical of him. Twitter did not ban Modi. But Twitter executives did ban Trump, even though key staffers said that Trump had not incited violence, not even in a coded way. Less than 90 minutes after Twitter employees had determined that Trump's tweets were not in violation of Twitter policy, Vijaya Gadde, Twitter's head of legal policy and trust, asked whether it could, in fact, be coded incitement to further violence. And to add to that, she said, if you have any context or insight, we should consider. I'm all ears. So she's pretty much begging someone for anything. Example, use of term American patriots, and they will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape or form. Blank said, this is an interesting question. I'm going to speak with my team ASAP to see if we can run a quick survey to get reactions to the language contained in the tweet and get back to you. Vijaya said, I'm not sure I would rely on a survey. I worry about how that would be perceived externally. She's worried how that would be perceived externally. Wondering if we have anything in past research that could be relevant. A few minutes later, Twitter employees on the scaled enforcement team suggested that Trump's tweet may have violated Twitter's glorification of violence policy, if you interpreted the phrase American patriots to refer to the rioters. Oh dear, so they're asking if they can consider American patriots to be rioters. From my point of view, my team, my laptop's frozen, will rejoin ASAP. Scale has said they understand our position but will continue to push their Gov assessment with leadership. They see it that he is the leader of a violent extremist group who's glorifying the group and its recent actions. And Blank said, do you think we should square off government in the DJT assessment, or would it be helpful at this point? Anika said, I think it could be helpful to maybe have a write-up of what a VIO assessment could look like, just in case Scale tips the balance and that becomes the decision. Things escalated from there. Members of that team came to view him as the leader of a terrorist group responsible for violence, deaths comparable to Christchurch shooter or Hitler, and on that basis and on the totality of his tweets, he should be deplatformed. My goodness. But they now view him, oh my goodness. They'll continue to push that argument with leadership and see where it falls. 2 hours later, Twitter executives host a 30-minute all-staff meeting. Jack Dorsey and Vijaya Gadde answer staff questions as to why Trump wasn't banned yet, but they make some employees angrier. Multiple tweeps, Twitter employees, have quoted that the banality of evil suggesting that people implementing our policies are like Nazis following orders, relays Yoel Roth to a colleague. Blank, I'm not sure who should hear this, but if you look at the conversation in that place, plenty of employees are not responding well to the 30-minute brief. I feel people want to feel heard and having someone with the right purview to reason with, and in other words, they agree with their opinion. And yet I'm sure Jack Vijaya are totally saturated. I wonder if we can mobilise people who are on the peripheral of decision-making, but not all consumed to engage in internal discussions. Yoel Roth said, yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it, candidly. Not a lot of people who are close to the decisions would feel safe engaging there. Multiple tweets have quoted the banality of evil, suggesting that people implementing our policies are like Nazis following orders, which, as someone responsible for our policies who had direct family members in Auschwitz, is not exactly an environment I want to wade into. People are angry and want to express themselves, but the way the conversation happens can close off meaningful engagement. Basically, Trump is proven right. Oh, hang on, there's more to this. What am I doing? Dorsey requested simpler language to explain Trump's suspension. Roth wrote, God help us, this makes me think he wants to share it publicly. If we get close to suspension and analysis of 8chan or Parler as part of the decision, any links to that content would be helpful for us with trusted, if possible. I'd like those services to pay a price here. Yep, noted. Dell is rewriting the doc per request from Jack to make it simpler, which, God help us, makes me think he wants to share it publicly. 1 hour later, Twitter announces Trump's permanent suspension due to the risk of further incitement of violence. Many at Twitter were ecstatic. There you go. Team DJT is suspended. Oh my God. Exclamation marks. Ah. More exclamation marks. Well, this feels like a piece of history. Yeah, it is. You're on the wrong side, though. Saw the message. Thank you, everyone, for your impactful work this week, for the discussion and for drafting all these complex assessments. I'm very proud to work and learn from you every day. Wishing you a good weekend. These people need to, well, I'm sure they've been sacked by now, I hope. And congratulatory big props to whoever in trust and safety is sitting there whack-a-moling these Trump accounts. What did I say ages ago? That's what it feels like on YouTube. Whack-a-mole. Big props to whoever, yeah, okay. Can we get them one of these awesome cards I've heard about? Definitely some extraordinary acts of awesomeness going around Twitter right now. And Don Jr.'s account needs to be locked too, so they say. They're activists. That's what they are. Their Twitter employees are activists. Barry Weiss said by the next day, employees expressed eagerness to tackle medical misinformation as soon as possible. What Blank said, yes, we absolutely plan to do this in 2021 with the timeline being as soon as possible. That COOF is one specific disease. Medical misinformation is a much broader category of harmful content. We've laid a lot of the groundwork for policy and product behaviour through our work on the COOF and the election. The Misinfo policy team in T and AMPS, along with the folks in health experience. TWS, research and other teams across the company are now focused on getting to a place of improved maturity in how our policies are actualised. Maturity? Across reporting operations, global scale, scope, etc. We have more to share on this soon. Edited, blah, blah, blah. For the longest time, Twitter's stance was that we aren't the arbiter of truth, wrote another employee, which I respected, but never gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Very excited to see us handling more categories of misinformation for the longest time. Yeah, okay, it doesn't give it a warm, fuzzy feeling. That said, my dad is an MD. To give context, and medical misinformation is a really hard topic, even for the COOF. We only covered a narrow category of information. As an example is take certain vitamins daily to reduce risk, good information, creative marketing, or misinformation. Personally, I'm not sure, and I suspect there are views on both sides. But Twitter's COO, Parag Agrawal, who would later succeed Dorsey as CEO, told head of security Mudge Zatko, I think a few of us should brainstorm the ripple effects of Trump's ban. Agrawal added centralized content moderation, in my opinion, has reached a breaking point now. Okay, fragmented public conversation. How might we adapt? Who are you suggesting? Not sure. A few of us on staff, maybe to start. The future of public conversation feels uncertain to me. To my mind, we need to move fast towards opening up control over policies and enforcement and decentralizing it. Centralized content moderation, in my opinion, has reached a breaking point now. Interested to hear what people think now it's played out the way it has. And Parag said, I think more important question now is the future of public conversation. In my mind, this is the end of the road for centralized content moderation. Hard to believe that this approach will be sustainable moving forward. Suggested to Mudge that a few of us get together to anticipate ripple effects and how to decide how we want to mobilise for the change ahead. Outside the United States, Twitter's decision to ban Trump raised alarms, including with French President Emmanuel Macron, German Prime Minister Angela Merkel, and Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Macron told an audience he didn't want to live in a democracy where the key decisions were made by private players. I want it to be decided by a law voted by your representative or by regulation governance, democratically discussed and approved by democratic leaders. Merkel's spokesperson called Twitter's decision to ban Trump from its platform problematic and added that the freedom of opinion is of elementary significance. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny criticised the ban as an unacceptable act of censorship. Whether you agree with Navalny and Macron or the executives at Twitter, we hope this latest instalment of the Twitter Files gave you insight into that unprecedented decision. From the outset, our goal in investigating this story was to discover and document the steps leading up to the banning of Trump and to put that choice into context. Ultimately, the concerns about Twitter's efforts to censor news about Hunter Biden's laptop, blacklist disfavored views, and ban a president aren't about the past choices of executives in a social media company. They're about the power of a handful of people at a private company to influence the public discourse and democracy. So follow all their work at the Free Press and click there to subscribe and so on and so forth. So what do you guys, and could you see it this time? Could you actually see Twitter this time? Okay, it shouldn't take me long here. Menacing Muskrat said, hello, Sherry, how you going? Mark, how you going? From Santa Fe. Pat, how you going? Danny, how you going? You all sent your letters to SCOTUS and Brunson Brothers yet? Nope. SCOTUS 22380 Brunson versus Adams et al. Menacing said, Danny, too, they're asking to send letters worldwide. Is that correct? And Darren said, hi, guys. How you going, Darren? And David said, hello from Maine. Hope everyone's happy and healthy. Suzanne Jane said, oh, hey, everyone, I'm late, but I'm starting at the beginning. Cool. I think you're only 10 minutes behind there. Menacing Muskrat said, hello, Darren Brooker, David Dahl. Danny said, Menacing Muskrat, yes. So everyone's saying hello to each other. Danny said, one said to send the letters no matter where in the world you are. And if possible, enclose $1. What's this for? Faye said, hello all, internet up and down here. Don't know how long it will last. Snow and ice. Oh, nice. Well, depends on how you look at that. It's cold here too, in the middle of summer. Well, not in the middle of summer, but 2 weeks in the summer, and it's cold. Great. Danny said, yes, menacing. Menacing, thumbs it up, folks. Thank you. Nice. C. Glover, how you going? Hey, everyone. These Twitter drops were very needed. Yes. Cynthia, how you going, Cynthia? Danny said, darn, Hev's PC window is all morphed up. Is it? Okay. What I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to come live on a different streaming thing. I'm gonna have to get my son to help me set it up because I don't really know what I'm doing with it. So we'll see. Captain Whippersnapper said, I heard the Kraken was supercomputer with pertinent information. Cynthia said, happy Thursday. Danny said, heard the same, Captain Whippersnapper. Menacing Muskrat, also Alice is a supercomputer, I believe. Menacing Muskrat said, or is that concern? T. Lee said, hello, everyone. And Menacing said, hi, D. Lee. Danny said, Brunson's received 4 envelopes on the first day of receiving anything. 53 envelopes the following day and 163 on day 3. That's all the numbers I have so far. What is this, Danny? Muskrat, Alice is also an AI bot. Danny, which means SCOTUS has received at least that many so far. Hey, Angie, how you going? Out to lunch, how you going? Cynthia says, ooh, politics and Twitter exhausting. Also, I think Trump today, just today, has, what has he done? Hang on, let me just go back. He's done something. Okay, he made an announcement that he was selling something, some card for $100 each, right? But that's not all. That's what they took as the big announcement. And that's not what it was. Breaking. President Trump announces free speech policy plan for 2024. Restoring free speech overview. Ban federal agencies from colluding to censor American citizens. Ban taxpayer dollars from being used to label speech as mis or disinformation. Fire every federal bureaucrat who's engaged in domestic censorship. Immediately send preservation letters to Biden administration and big tech giants. Order the DOJ to investigate all parties involved in online censorship regime and prosecute any and all crimes identified. Revise Section 230 to drastically curtail big platforms' power to restrict lawful speech. Stop federal funding for all nonprofits and academic programs engaged in censorship. Suspend federal dollars to any university that is engaged in censorship supporting activities. Enact criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to violate your constitutional rights. Impose a 7-year cooling-off period before former Intel and national security officials can work at big tech platforms. Pass a digital Bill of Rights. So that's what Trump's announcement was, but they took it. They're not going to report on that. So you know what they're reporting? He's selling a, what is it? A card online for $100 or something. That's what they're saying. Danny Richards said, I'm still missing yesterday's number for Brunson, but I have an estimation for today. Roland picked up 8 boxes from the post office today. Each box has approximately 200 envelopes. Cynthia says, good news, Danny. Hey, Zal, how you going? There are way too many parrots in this world. Danny said, heck yeah, Cynthia, we'd love to see it turn into 100,000 letters to SCOTUS. Zal said, how did Trump incite violence and when? That's what I want to know. They had to do like gymnastics, mental gymnastics to get to that decision. Because there's worse on there. Cynthia said, I want a parrot, sweet Danny. Robert, how you going? Weather manipulation yesterday here in Dallas, Texas, 15 tornadoes in Dallas, Fort Worth area. The cloud seeding machine is out there in West Texas. You can see all the storms start there. Yeah, we've got the same here. Darren said, Zal, the same way that riots and lootings are peaceful. Danny said, we had our bluest skies in a decade when Trump was in office. We'll get it back again. We did too, actually. Xenotron said, good morning, Hev family, everyone. How you going, Xena? Trump's tweet, people will die. COVID, grandma will die. Climate change, all the animals must die. Are we looking at a cult of death? Robert said, Google cloud seeding machine patent, Google tornado machine patent, Google hurricane machine patent, AIDS virus patent, COVID patent. Yeah, they're all patented. Danny said, Hev, when you wrap up today's show, watch it as a guest in YouTube. You'll see how they skewed your screen window appears while your cam view shows you in all clarity. I think they're doing it on purpose. YouTube, I think they obviously don't want people to be able to read Twitter. And check out anyone else who's sharing things like the Twitter files, if theirs is clear, if they're showing you and they're clear. Because they're doing this, I swear to God. Xenotron said they really do want us dead. Yes, they do. And Zal said they're all in the club. They are. Okay, my daughter's having heart problems at the moment, okay? Quite severe. And she's a gym instructor. And yesterday she had to come home early because she already had this before, right? But I think these things have made it worse, right? You know what it does, right? Because she went from just having palpitations to now having pains down the arm. She had to stop in the middle of a class she was teaching and just instruct people how to do it without actually doing it herself, which is awkward when you're a gym instructor. And honestly, if anything happens to my daughter, they want to feel like ripping someone's head off. She did have it beforehand, but it seems worse now. So, yeah, if I can ask for your prayers for my daughter, guys. I don't want any of my children to pass. God help anyone. God help the person who shot them with it if they do. If I find out who they are. As Al said, they're all in the club. Cynthia said, prayers for Texas. Dang, yeah. Xenotron said, I think there are two worlds, ours and theirs. Ours is the byproduct and nuclear waste of their world after they've stripped all the goodness out. Yeah, exactly. Cynthia said, I did not know. Robert said, clear sunny day today. No one killed in the tornado outbreak, but causing havoc on the east coast of America. Prayers for you guys then, with the tornadoes going on. They always look scary to me. I don't know. Cynthia said, thanks, Robert. I'll look into the storms for sure. Cynthia said, been no spraying last couple of days. Sun, blue skies, but windy as, yep. Cynthia said, oh, sorry, Hev looks beautiful today as always. No, that's okay. You don't need to say that. Oh. Robert Desmond said, the new video on Project Veritas is great. Standing out the front of New York Times headquarters, grilling fired employees. Cool. Xenotron said it was all planned. They laid the groundwork and built the internal platform to enable this manipulative deception and crimes against President Trump. Forethought, foreplanned, but we not forewarned. Yeah. Cynthia said, this is an unexpected live. Yeah, I made a video yesterday and I did say I'd go live in the morning. I didn't schedule it. I just went because I was going to use the other streaming software, but my son wasn't awake in time to show me how to use it. Sal said, most people have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, a lot of people just don't like him. And why? I don't know. They believe the media, I think. I don't know. Dan Markle Sr. said, hey, Hev, how you going? How you going, Dan Markle Sr.? David said, well, howdy, y'all. I'm from Western Australia. Xenotron said, does anyone think the fire at New York Evidence Centre is suspicious? Yes. Yes. I heard about that. Cynthia said, sons are great for that stuff. Yeah, he's doing his own thing, so he's going pretty well, actually. And I want him to show me how to use the OBS, what is it, Streamlabs, properly, so that I can use it properly. And then if someone subs to your channel, it pops up with a little letting you know, same as a super chat, so I don't miss them in case I miss some of them, because I swear sometimes I don't see them all. Captain Whippersnapper said, thanks, Hev. Darren said, what's the deal about NFT digital trading? That's it, the digital trading cards. I don't know what the deal is, but Trump announced that. The media's gone with that as the big announcement, but that's not what it is. I just read it. I am Kai said, I'm up, still sleepy though. Much love, guys. God love you. Cynthia said, this obsession with Trump. Dang, yeah. Davis said, Alice, artificial linguistic intelligent computing entity. Cool. Or not. I don't know. Danny said, Heaven Sent, Rumble has lots of videos on this. It's about Supreme Court case 22-380. Schedule for conference on Jan 6. Search Rumble for 22-380. Okay, cool. Thank you. Because I didn't know what it was about. I have been a bit out of the loop. I've been babysitting a lot this week, and then my daughter had her heart problems. So, I'm a bit concerned, and I've just been sitting here worrying. I am Kai, said Cynthia. Cynthia said, hey, I am Kai. And then she's told she may need a stint in her heart, in one of the arteries or valves or something. I don't know. Menacing Muskrat said, update, Dr. Bunny Henry and the Ministry of Health in British Columbia have been taken to court. They're asking the judge, Sarah, to have it broadcasted live. Legacy Media hasn't said nothing. Wow. Out to lunch said, Kai, hi, Muskrat, everyone. Lanazi, how you going? Danny said, in a nutshell, if SCOTUS rules in Brunson's favour, 388 members of Congress and the House will be. Oh, interesting. Danny, I'm going to have to get onto that then. See what that's about. Darren said, that's the one, David. Big business uses Alice to aid communications. Xenotron said, hey, Lanazi, hope you're doing well. Kai said, just got here myself. Daddy said, including Joe Biden, Pelosi, Kamala Harris, who are also named in this. Oh, interesting. This could get really interesting. Do people remember a few years ago, was it the board that said you're going to have a very Merry Christmas? And every year I've been going, is this the year we're going to have a Merry Christmas? Is this the year we're going to have a Merry Christmas? Maybe this year's the year we're going to have a Merry Christmas. If that happened, I'd have a Merry Christmas. At least know something's going on that everyone can kind of see, you know? Cynthia said, yeah, now the chat is picking up. Lanazi said, Trump's speech is on NTD on YouTube. It was awesome. He spoke with a high authority and power. I'm pretty sure something is coming very soon. Pray. Definitely. Something's vibrating. My phone. Just one sec. I just want to see if there's any like breaking news or anything that I'm missing out on. Fear of missing out. FOMO. No. No, just someone on Rumble going live. Oh, dear. Lanazi said Xenotron, Cynthia's prayers and thumbs up. I am Kai said Lanazi is correct. Green means go. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. I am Kai said White House light in green. Oh, is it? Let's go, please. Give me a Merry Christmas, something. Lanazi said I am Kai. Cynthia said, yeah, jabs intensify. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. Dr. Bonnie Henry's declaration. Oh, okay. 5-day certification hearing in proposed lawsuit. Cool. Excellent menacing. Darren said today's speech was an official campaign ad for 2024. Yeah, it was good actually. The ad for selling his, what are they, digital cards or whatever they are? That was pretty good. And it's funny because when Trump speaks, everyone tends to listen. Maybe some people listen to the wrong bits, but, you know, not the wrong bits. What would you say? The bits, the media are actually trying to amplify the cards and play down the censorship rules coming, I think. Prayers for you. Oh, thank you, guys. I'm really worried. I'm really worried. She's got 3 children. They can't do without her. I can't do without her. Her brother can't do it. No, my mum and dad would just, that would be the end of them. I have about your daughter. So sorry. We're all going through it with those we love and care about, whom we know have taken it. Yeah. I am Kai said tea is shilling. No, it worked. He plays the media and they always fall for it. Xenotron said, have we have to brace ourselves. It is going to be harsh. Everyone's going to be affected one way or another. Yes, I know. I just really, I don't want my daughter. Oh, God. That would destroy me. Having to bury a child? Seriously? I don't even know what to say to that. And I feel for anyone who's ever had to do that, for God's sake. Because I don't think I could handle it. Menacing Muskrat said, prayers for Hev's daughter and all families that are in this horrible position. Daddy said, just got a picture today of my sister in France with my nephews. And all I could think of was, oh my gosh, hope my nephews didn't have to be vaxxed to get on that plane. You know, their mother took it. Oh, hope not. Lanazi said, I know he wasn't pussyfooting around today. I love a powerful, straightforward man. Yeah. Darren said, the House reps have a lot to do before Trump gets elected. Elon has given them some evidence and obviously has more. I am Kai said they go with a crowd like high school kids. Tea is unpopular, so the sheep herd up. They do. I don't know. Cynthia said, you go, Lanazi. Actually, can I just ask God, can I go before my daughter, please? Well, take me instead, okay? Just take me. Don't let her live, for God's sake. I'd rather go than that. And I don't want to go. Sherry said, prayers for your daughter. Have my son took that and he has high blood pressure, is not well. I know how you feel. I'm so angry with these people. I have 2 grandson teens who took it. Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Sherry. I am Kai said Alice will become a problem. I am Kai said can't have a linguistic computer without AI. Yeah, but I am Kai, things can be used for good or bad. All this technology, just they happen to use it for bad. Lanazi said, Cynthia, right, they are extinct. Geez, that's why I've been alone for 12 years now. I don't want a whimper or a butt kisser. I am Kai's showing the love to Sherry. Danny said, here's another tidbit. I am Kai said, I forgot to hit live chat. Duh. Lanazi said, lol. Cynthia said, yeah, Lanazi, seems all the good ones are taken. Selena said, I'm late, but I'm here. Are you talking about guys? Like all the good guys are taken? Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some out there that are just like probably don't go out and don't do what people expect, I don't know. Selena said, I'm late, but I'm here. Good on you, Selena. I am Kai saying, Selena, everyone's waving. They keep us perpetually hanging on. No, you can see things have happened. But something big where everyone sees it is yet to happen, kind of thing. Darren said, AI is neither good nor bad. The people in control of AI can use it either way. That's exactly, I agree with you, Darren. Hey, Carl, how you going? Something within days. SCOTUS called Brunson's to ask them to refile with some additional information as requested, get it to them ASAP, which they did. Moreover, the defendants waived their rights to respond. This is big. Oh. Zal said, my dog has a perpetual fear of missing out. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Lanazi said, Cynthia, right? Yep, but I have God, so no better man than him. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to try and keep up with the news. When I get off here, I will be, because I'll be coming live tomorrow morning again, I will be trying to get together news for tomorrow as well, so we can just keep going and see what's happening. Elijah said, Cynthia, yep, but I have God, so no better man than him. I did read that. Elijah Streams, Bronson SC, SCOTUS letter. Okay, cool. Thank you, Menacing Muskrat. Darren said, in the new Game of Thrones, Green was declaring intent of war from the Queen Consort's house. And step by step, Elijah Streams filed Bronson SCOTUS letter. Okay, cool. Thank you, Menacing Muskrat. Darren says the same with guns, Kai. Menacing Muskrat says, print this PDF off. I am Kai said, Doc Rich has a short of Jen Psaki saying they intended to prevent you from using your rights, period. Cynthia said, right on, Lanazi, back at you, my father and best friend for sure. Hey, MJ, how you doing? Sherry said, does anyone know if the TRB cards on Telegram are legit? Dunno. I am Kai said, Darren, true, but aren't being able to do anything with a person. AI can. I am Kai said, guns aren't able, need more coffee. Zal said, the whole political system requires dismantling in every country. It needs rebuilding. Reform. Hey, Marky Plyer fan, how you going? I am Kai said, guns are intelligent in any way. AI can act independently of human presence. Depends. Darren said, without interference, AI will be as good or as bad as the information it's given. Garbage in, garbage out. Exactly. I am Kai said, oh my God, I'm a typo machine. Garbage in, garbage out with no supervision. Zal said, that's big. Something may happen at the World Cup final. Most of the world will be watching. I am Kai said, Zal, good point. Menacing Muskrat said, remember what the 17th letter said? They won't be able to walk down the streets. Yes, exactly. Lanazi said, the case is set to be heard for the Bronsons is, get this, January 6th. I am Kai says 17th, the US is skint broke. 17 also says Trump card. Yep. Trump card. Okay, he's just pulled it. Is that right? He's just pulled out the Trump card. Green for go? I don't know. Anyway, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this live here for today, and I will be back tomorrow with more news. Okay. Okay, guys, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Here comes the outro. Oh, when I push play, here it comes.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and where I'll go in life, still nobody knows. But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes, and ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. Back a year ago.